Hey girl gang, it's Dr. Joy here and you are watching Delivery Joy MD TV. Welcome to Well Woman Wednesday. I love doing that. Welcome to Well Woman Wednesday. You know, you can hear that soprano coming out of there. But we've been talking about birth control options if you've been following along. And today's option is really for those folks who really aren't into the daily medication, like taking pills, or who don't like shots, or who maybe just are not really feeling the whole long-acting reversible birth control like an IUD or an Nexplanon. This one that I'm telling you about today is the birth control patch. And so if you are looking for an option that is less invasive and doesn't require you to take a pill every day, then you definitely want to keep watching for more details. All right, girl gang, let's jump into this video on the birth control patch. So I mean, lots of people who are not really into the IUD or the Nexplanon, they're not really ready to commit to long-acting birth control. They may not be able to remember to take a pill every day. They hate needles, or they're worried about weight gain with the shot. So they're really looking for an option that doesn't really require a whole lot of maintenance, but that's easy and that will work. And so the birth control patch, or the vaginal ring, if you caught last week's video, can be very helpful for people who are looking for this sort of option. So the patch is like a sticker. You really literally just stick it on your skin. You can put it on your shoulder, you can put it on your belly, you can put it on your butt. You can really put it in multiple different places, and what you do is change it out weekly. So if you put it on your shoulder this week, then you may want to put it on the other shoulder the next week, on the belly, or on your butt or your hip. And this patch works by putting small amounts of estrogen and progesterone into the skin. So your skin is absorbing the hormones, and that's how the birth control works. This is an estrogen containing birth control, and you may have seen me talk about non-estrogen containing birth controls. So this birth control is definitely not for folks who have sensitivities to estrogen, maybe formed blood clots in their legs or their lungs during pregnancy or at another time of their life. If you have had a stroke or a heart attack, this may not be the birth control for you. If you have uncontrolled diabetes or high blood pressure or severe liver disease, this would not be the birth control for you. And another thing that you need to keep in mind is that this patch has not been well studied in women who have a body mass index over 30. So if you have obesity, the patch may not be as effective, but it still is a birth control option, particularly if you're using it with condoms, which, you know, birth control does not protect against sexually transmitted infections. It just helps prevent pregnancy. So we should be using a condom or a backup form every time we have sex, unless we are in a committed monogamous relationship. How does the patch actually work? So like I said, the patch emits small amounts of hormone into the skin every day, and that hormone gets absorbed. And this hormone actually causes thickening of the cervical mucus, very similar to a lot of the other birth controls that we've talked about in this series. And it creates kind of a sticky situation for the sperm. So the sperm actually gets stuck at the cervix. They're not really able to get up through the cervix and into the uterus and out to fertilize the egg. The patch also works by preventing ovulation. So these hormones prevent your ovaries from releasing an egg. So even if the sperm was able to get out into the fallopian tubes, there should be no egg waiting for the sperm to fertilize anyway. The patch also thins out the lining of the uterus where a pregnancy would implant if a pregnancy did occur. So the patch works in each of those three ways to prevent pregnancy. So in terms of the ease of use, the patch is very much like a sticker, just like I just discussed, and you can stick it directly on the skin. You want to certainly make sure that the skin is clean and dry. Don't be putting on all your body butter before you put your patch on. So you want to make sure that you've just recently showered with soap and water, or that you use an alcohol wipe or swab to really get that area clean and dry when you're getting ready to stick your patch. You want your patch to fully adhere to the skin where you're placing it. You don't want the corners all bubbled up, or you don't want the corners rolling around, like, rolling up and all that sort of stuff. You want the entire patch to be in direct contact with your skin. So the patch is changed weekly, and you want to set a day to change your patch. So if you know every Sunday I put on a new patch, you want to stick to that Sunday date. And the patch comes in a box, and that box contains 3 patches, because you'll wear that patch, 1 patch per week for 3 weeks. And then on the 4th week, you would leave the patch off and have a bleed. The key thing here is you must remember to put that patch back on the next week. So don't just get comfortable with that week that you don't have to wear the patch and then end up forgetting to put it back on. Ready to change your patch, you're gonna take your old patch off, fold it up so that the sticky parts are contacted with each other, and throw it away. Please don't flush it, because we don't need a lot of estrogen and progesterone in the water systems around here, but you want to throw it away and just try to make sure that the sticky parts are contacting each other, so that, if you have kids or pets or other random people wandering around who might get into the trash, they don't end up getting a hold to that and putting it in their mouth. So once that patch has been discarded, you can either open up your new patch, or if it is your patch free week of the month, you can just leave the patch off. If you have really oily skin or you sweat profusely, sometimes the patch can move around or sometimes even fall off without you knowing. So it's very important that each day while you're getting dressed, wherever you stuck your patch, just check it out in the mirror, make sure it looks good, make sure there's full contact against your skin. If your patch has fallen off at some point, if it's been off for more than 2 days, then go ahead and put your patch on right away, but you will definitely need a backup form of birth control for a patch that has been off for more than 2 days. So a condom will be very good to use with that, and you need to have that patch back on for at least 7 days for it to be effective again. If the patch falls off and you know it's been less than 2 days, you can stick your patch back, stick a new patch back on rather, and that should be fine, and you could continue with your regular activities as long as the patch has not been off for more than 2 days. So how good is this patch thing? Is it really protecting you against pregnancy? The answer is with perfect use. That means you never mess it up. You never forget to put your patch on when you're supposed to. You never forget to check the patch and make sure it's still on and it hasn't fallen off somewhere. With perfect use, it's 99% effective, but very similar to the vaginal rings that we talked about last week. Most people are going to use it such that it is about 91% effective. So that means, none of us is perfect. So we can't expect to get perfect use. We always have things that come up and life happens. So about 91% effectiveness on average is what we see in folks who are using the patch. And again, remember, as I said before, if you have obesity, meaning your body mass index is greater than 30, the patch may not be as effective in this group of women. So be cognizant of that, and make sure that you're using a condom for birth control backup and to prevent sexually transmitted infections. Also, the effectiveness can decrease with certain antibiotics, antifungal medicines, or anti-seizure medicines. So make sure that you're checking with your physician or healthcare provider when you're starting the patch, so that we know what kind of meds you're taking before you start the patch, or if you start new medications while you're using the patch. You want to go over this with the healthcare provider or physician that's prescribing you the new medication while you're on your patch, just to make sure that the effectiveness is not decreased. If you find that it is, if it's an antibiotic or something like that, then again, condoms as a birth control backup will be a good idea in this situation. So one of the common questions I get with the patch is, can I wear it in the shower? Can I swim in it? Can I wear it when I go to the beach? And the answer is yes, you should be able to wear the patch under all these circumstances, and it should not come off. I have had folks who feel like their patch is not really adhering well to their skin, and in that case, it's totally okay to put a clear bandage like a Tegaderm on the patch to help keep it adhered. But if you notice that it's shifting around, or the edges or the corners are rolling up, you may want to just take it off, discard it, and get a new patch. So the most common side effects of the patch are going to be headaches, nausea, problems with breast tenderness. You may notice changes in their monthly bleeding. So with the patch, you're having kind of a fake period. So you may notice that the days are shorter, that the blood loss is less, which can be definitely a win for people who have heavier periods. Another common side effect is also breakthrough bleeding, and this can happen with any hormonal birth control. Even the non-hormonal birth controls can cause breakthrough bleeding, and so that is something that can happen pretty commonly. And if you're having a lot of breakthrough bleeding, you want to talk to your provider or physician about that. So some folks report soreness at the site where the patch is applied. So if you notice that, definitely important to switch the sites where you apply your patch frequently, because you don't want that area of the skin to become sore or to even start to have some allergic reaction to the adhesive that's in the patch. So what are the pros of the patch? One of my favorite pros is that if you have heavy or painful periods, the patch can certainly help with that. So not only is it helping prevent pregnancy, but it can also help with a lot of menstrual disorders. So I use it a lot in teenagers because it's really easy for them to just slap that on, and it can help a lot with abnormal periods or painful periods. Another pro is it does not require daily use. So it's not like the pill where you have to remember to take it every day around the same time of the day. You can just switch it out weekly on a designated day. The patch should not cause weight gain. And another really cool benefit is that the patch protects against uterine and ovarian cancer. So that's another helpful thing. It can really decrease your risk of these two cancers down the line. There are a couple of cons with the patch. The patch does stop your ovulation. So you can notice that once you stop the patch, it may take a while before your periods come back to normal and you are ovulating regularly. So that's something to keep in mind with the patch or any estrogen and progesterone containing birth control, like the patch, the ring, the pill. If you are breastfeeding, the patch may not be for you because it does decrease breast milk, just like any other estrogen containing birth control. And again, you should not use the patch if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure, uncontrolled diabetes, if you have severe liver disease, if you've had a stroke or a heart attack, or if you yourself personally have had breast cancer, or if you have severe liver disease. The other important thing to note is that smokers, women who are smoking and are over the age of 35, should not be using the patch. So overall, the patch is a great option. I hope that you know a little bit more about it today. So I want to make sure that I get to your questions and comments. So make sure you drop those in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and learned something today, give your girl a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss a single Well Woman Wednesday episode. I'll catch you next Wednesday, girl gang. Peace.